Welcome to Anime Out of Context, a comedy review show hosted by a basement dweller who grew up scrounging terrible fan subs on sketchy websites prior to the convenience of modern streaming, alongside a willfully ignorant soul whose only knowledge of anime comes from the shows forced upon him here. This show will contain spoilers, incorrect information, and copious amounts of adult language. Our hosts are not experts on any topic, and everything they say should be taken with a grain of salt. Thank you for listening, and enjoy.
Hello and welcome to Anime Out of Context, the show where I attempt to explain the sometimes weird, sometimes wonderful, but always hilarious world of anime.
And the people have spoken.
I'm Shaun Rollins.
I'm Remington Chase.
Yeah, you are correct, Remington. The people have spoken, and though in the past I have tried to discourage this behavior of our patrons, and I was planning on ignoring our patrons again, but then they did something that I honestly did not anticipate. Rem, our patrons fucking unionized.
They did, and they centered around a common cause. Like, one of them is donating to an aviary because of it, as well as which I saw Dylan is actually going to be matching the donation.
Yeah.
For everybody who switched. And boy, were there a lot.
Yeah, no, like...
But Shaun, you know what's crazy?
What's crazy, Rem?
What's absolutely insane?
What's that, Rem?
I think, and this is true, this is no nonsense. Not only are we like that happening, but this Christmas is a special Christmas.
Is it?
Let me fact check. Once every 292 years... Apparently, I'm not gonna do super in-depth fact check, but it seems reliable.
Okay.
Once every 292 years, Christmas and April Fools
No.
fall on the same day.
No, Rem, no, you can't do
It's
this.
insane. It's crazy.
Rem, no.
It's
Rem, you can't.
madness. And what do you know? This is a year. It's
No.
genuinely once in a lifetime. So, Shaun, let me tell you.
Rem, no. They're fucking donating to charity for this, Rem. I was finally... No, Rem, you don't understand what you're doing.
It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. So,
Oh, no.
I consider myself, on this podcast, the voice of the people.
Oh, God.
And the people have spoken. Shaun, this week we are doing a Toradora Christmas revisit, but I get all the credit. I get the credit. Shaun doesn't. Shaun, I chose this as the voice of the people, all right?
Oh, you snake! You rotten dog! You sneaky bastard! No!
I get all the... Shaun didn't want this to happen. I'm the voice of the people. I'm making it happen, all right? I got you guys.
You fucking liar. You knew it was gonna happen because I am weak and I give in to peer pressure. So you just took this as an opportunity to make the most of you having to watch a shit ton of anime. You bastard.
Don't make excuses, Shaun. Don't make excuses.
You capitalist pig!
All right. So, the pages, they've been crazy for it. Shaun, do we need to discuss much, if anything, in part one? Because let's face it, they've seen the episode's gonna be a long fucking episode.
Yes. Honestly, Rem, the only thing we really need to discuss is, well, first we need to thank all of our lovely patrons for supporting us throughout the year. It means a lot to us.
We're super, super grateful. You guys are all phenomenal.
Yeah. You guys are...
It is astonishing that we are as successful as we are, and the fact that we have a successful Patreon, the fact that we've built a successful community around this, it's insane. We love you guys, whether you're a patron or not, frankly.
Yeah, honestly. It's just that, all of the love and support we get from patrons and non-patrons alike are the whole reason we do this at this point. That and my crippling self-esteem issues, but we don't need to talk about that. This is a Christmas episode. But Rem, the only other thing we need to discuss is we have to figure out what exactly you remember from Toradora, because we only watched 10 episodes of it, of a 25-episode series, and the last time we watched Toradora was, a good while ago, I think. Because Toradora, if I recall correctly, I think was one of our first 10 episodes.
All right. Well, yeah. For we did Toradora, and I remember my first thoughts were, wow, it's not just just like any other rom com. And then we did the second episode, and I was like, wow, it is actually just like every other rom com. So I flipped on it, and a lot of people hated it. They've been angry ever since.
Yeah. We've gotten a lot of emails.
Remember that there was an important beach episode.
Yep.
That's it.
That's it. Okay. All right.
There was a plan on the beach episode, like they had a scheme going.
All right. Okay. I'll give you a brief overview of the synopsis, and it should all come flowing back to you.
It's been a while.
It's been a while. Yes, it has. It's been... Oh, fuck me running, Rem. The first episode of Toradora was episode 5, back in April of 2018. And our second Toradora episode was in November of 2018.
Yeah, so, it's been a minute.
And
it's been a minute.
And weirdly, both episodes exactly 46 minutes long. No idea how that happened. This one's probably going to be a lot longer.
Yeah, because normally I'm not kept in the loop. I have been told that they're a lot. It's a lot.
It's a lot. But because honestly, Rem, there's not much point in leaving only 5 episodes left after this, because what they really wanted was us to get to the Christmas episode. And I was like, yeah, we can do that. When's the Christmas episode? Oh, it's the 6th from the last episode. There's not much point in doing a 4th Toradora episode, in my opinion. So really, we should do it all in one go. But if you're a smart lad, and so that your opinion isn't clouded by binging everything all at once, you will space out your watching so you don't hate it on principle alone. I'm putting that on the airwaves just so that if there's any doubt or any suspicion about Remington's true intentions, that can be dissuaded. And also to help cover my ass a little bit. But with that in mind, the basic plot of Toradora Remington is a pretty lovely little rom-com where we have our 2 main characters, Ryuji Takasu and Taiga Isaka. And they are, kind of loners and outcasts at their school. Taiga...
Yeah, and she's like hardcore tsundere.
Yep. She's one of the tsunderes. Like, when you talk about tsunderes, usually her picture is the one that shows up. And Ryuji is looks like a scary gangster type, but is actually just a big, like, mama's boy softie. And they form a bit of a weird friendship because they have a very common situation. That being, they are in love with each other's best friends. And they both find out about this, and they both agree to help each other get with the other's best friends. Kind of a comrade in arms types of thing. And,
yeah.
Yep, and the story is of their efforts and failures and their friendship of trying to achieve these somewhat impossible activities, all the while becoming closer as friends and all that jazz. And there's a lot of...
All right, but like the beach episode was real important, right?
Yes. The beach episode was kind of important because it was a big gathering of all of them on vacation together, paired with the 5th member of the group, which was Sumire Kano, she is the blue-haired model character who...
Oh, yeah, she showed up and I was like, what?
Yes.
All right, yeah, sure, yeah.
And there was a bit of drama because that's when they really wanted to put their efforts of, put out the effort of enacting the plans to try and set up situations to get together with them. And there was a bit of drama and some successes and some failures that, oh, wait a minute, I just realized I misread. The model girl's name is Amy Kawashima. Sumire is...
Jeez.
Yeah, sorry. They put in the character
hour.
list, they put the 2 blue-haired characters right next to each other. And I looked at it at a glance. Sorry. Kawashima Amy is the model. But anyway, and there was a little bit of drama and some realizations made amongst the characters. Hopefully it comes flowing back to you. But basically from that point, it was kind of a turning point in realizing their own feelings about each other and about the overall situation as a whole. And after that, it just goes on with the rest of the show. I figured episode 10 was a good place to end it on, and that's why we ended it there. And where we're jumping back in, Rem, is we're going to be jumping into their school's culture festival. And
Perfect. Shaun, I just want to say one thing before we do the episode. So, for literal years now, people have been like, oh no, Remington, you just need to see more of Toradora. It's been like so ridiculously common.
Right.
People being like, you just need to see more Toradora. Why have you not seen more Toradora? Then you would change your opinion yet again. And it's possible. It is possible that I will flip back yet again to a favorable opinion. But I want to make it clear. I wanted to let everyone know.
Mm-hmm.
After this episode, after I have watched the entire first season, all right?
The only season. It's complete. It's not getting any more.
Oh, perfect. Even better. Okay, yeah, so after I've watched literally everything, y'all can't comment that regardless of what I say, all right? I will have an informed opinion at that point. No more, if only I'd seen more. No more, well, if you Googled this one fan theory or some bullshit. No. I will have everything. I will have everything, and my opinion will be set, all right? It'll be locked to the fuck in.
Well, you haven't read the light
One
novel,
way or
Rem.
another. Okay, listen here, you son of a bitch.
But yeah, no, this is it. This is the final Toradora episode. There will be no more after this, and Remington will have his informed opinion, which is why I suggest strongly, Remington, to not binge it all at once, you fuck, because I know you've been doing that recently.
Oh, time is an enigma, man.
2 to 3 episodes a day, and you will be good, my man. If you
God,
push
that'd
it
be
to
such
4
a
episodes
smarter
a
way
day,
of
you'll be
handling
done
it.
in less than 5 days.
We'll see.
My Christ, Remington. You know you suck at binging. You know you suck at binging.
So true.
So if you want the people, if you are truly the voice of the people, Remington, you will give this your best effort. And it'll be a long episode, and we'll give everybody what they want as their union-garnered Christmas present. Because we love them all very, very much. And we also love our local aviary, the Tracy Aviary, which is a very good aviary. If you happen to be in the Utah area, the Salt Lake area specifically, go ahead and stop by. It's very pretty, got a lot of fun birds, and yeah. But with that in mind, Remington, I think we've stalled long enough. Without further ado, let's jump into our final episode on the hit 2008 anime, Toradora.
Up next.
Actually, the stuff with the dad was just like, that was the best part of the show. Oh, fuck me.
Hey y'all, Dylan here popping in with 2 quick announcements. The first is that since 15 patrons changed their names to support the Toradora revisit, I have donated $50 to the Tracy Aviary to support their conservation efforts, matching our initial commitment of $3 per patron name. And our very own patron and Discord regular Farmer Weeb went above and beyond, and he donated $100 to support that wonderful organization. The holidays are a stressful time for everybody, so if you want to decompress a little, watch one of their videos of the southern ground hornbills opening and playing with the toys from BarkBox. It never fails to bring a smile to my face. Those birds are so playful and so intelligent. I highly recommend it. The second announcement is that I am the featured guest on this week's episode of Shonen Flop, hosted by longtime friends of the podcast and previous guest hosts of this show, David and Jordan. We discussed the flat-footed flop known as Neru, Way of the Martial Artist. You don't need to be a manga reader to enjoy the show, so go and check it out. Previously.
Once every 292 years, Christmas and April Fools fall on the same day.
No, Rem, no, you can't
It's
do this.
insane. It's Shaun, this week we are doing a Toradora Christmas revisit.
Rem, you don't understand what you're doing. You capitalist pig.
Now, back to the show.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are back after consuming the remaining 15 episodes of the ever-popular, heavily requested Toradora. Now, Remington, the floor is going to be essentially yours for the rest of this podcast episode, since you've got a lot to cover.
Yeah, just 15 episodes.
Yeah, but I'm sure nobody will complain that we watched all that in essentially a single go, because
I will try to keep things as brief as humanly possible while also talking about everything I want to talk about.
yeah, which is ideal podcasting, I would say.
Yeah, try to balance the two. It'll be interesting on this one. But Shaun, I do want to talk about one thing before we properly get into it. So for before watching, I decided I was going to listen back to the last episode we did on Toradora, right?
Right.
And frankly, I thought I was gonna be a lot spicier. No, I was totally reasonable. And like I've been a little bit inflammatory here and there for some memes since then, but the episode itself, I was totally reasonable. I made a lot of sense, some good points. I was in no way provocative to people's emotions in that episode. It's a little bit insane.
Except for the part where you talk down about a show that is like genuinely beloved by a lot of people. And
But I so often emphasized that I enjoyed it.
I know you
Like,
did, bud. It's
so
just
much in that episode.
It's just
It
every
just
negative
is
thing you
crazy to
said.
me.
Every negative thing you said was amplified tenfold by the audience ship. You have to understand. This was like when we checked back. It was back in 2018 when we first started the podcast, and the end of 2018 when we did our first revisit of Toradora, and the sheer anger that a lot of the emails were at us for you having just a slightly less opinion of what it originally was. It was.
And I had three main points,
Yes.
and throughout my review of the rest of Toradora, because everyone was like, you got to watch more, and then it'll fix all your issues. The one sort of overarching point I made in the revisit was Toradora is good, but it isn't special. It is just a standard YA rom-com, etc. My second point, before I argued that they didn't give a damn about the secondary characters. And my third point was Taiga was nothing beyond basic tsundere bitch. Those were the three things I had before. We'll see as we continue this episode whether I stand by those opinions or whether I've changed my mind.
And you don't think that's inflammatory?
No, because I backed all of those up with a lot of great points.
Yeah, I know you did, bud, but at the same time, like
Stating reality tactfully isn't inflammatory just because you don't want to hear it. All right?
I don't know, man. Like, you said some of those things, and I felt like a little spark of frustration well up in my gut. And I'm like, wait, I knew this was coming. Why am I feeling emotions?
My argument would be that it says more about you than it says about me. But nonetheless, we'll see if those things carry on. I'll sort of episodes 11 through 13, that triple chunk, right? It's all about the culture festival.
Correct.
Right? And or at least there's two parallel stories. One is prep for the culture festival, where initially all the horny boys are like, let's fucking unionize in the name of how horny we are, and if we all vote together, we choose the theme and can get all the girls to dress up sexy. Which, like, maybe don't do it like that. But they're like, all right, perfect. And they were deciding what to do. A few options came up, but they decided cosplay cafe. Let's fucking do it. Everyone started submitting their votes and talking about ideas, right? The teacher, who's having a hard time, things just going rough for the teacher. She's like, pro wrestling, all in. Then the dude bro, who becomes more relevant as the season continues, but I don't know dude bro's name. No idea about blue-haired dude bro. And then he has a buddy, which I just call dude bro 2 or nerdy dude bro.
I believe you're talking about Koji specifically, or Haruta.
Sure. So, dude bro is, as he will be deemed.
Okay.
Dude bro, instead of taking all of the papers, counting them up, and seeing a vote, he's dumb, so he just picks one and is like, this is what it is, even though he was the one who had the plan in the first place. And they're doing the pro wrestling. So that's what they're doing for the festival, which I am amused by. All right, let's see. To his credit, he comes up with a nice storyline and script, goes all out for it, and everyone decides, you know what, fuck it, let's do this shit. And the story has Taiga and Ryuji, it's the baddies, right? Versus, now I get to decide, what should I call her? Because my shorthand was just Ami.
Yeah, you can call her Ami.
All right, cool.
Like, her name is Ami Kawashima, so...
Yeah, with the K, though, everybody... either their first or last name. Everybody has a K name somewhere in this show. So I'm going to try to avoid that.
I mean, oh wow, there are quite a few K names, aren't there?
There are a lot of Ks.
Yeah.
So I'm going to avoid the Ks to make it... so she's Ami.
I was about to count you, but then I was like, wait, it's literally only the main characters who don't have a K last name.
Yeah. So Ami, who... she's the hero. She's the model one, right?
Yep.
Who is more socially aware and also a bit more of a bitch. She has the lead. Meanwhile, while this is going on, you also have a storyline of Taiga's dad coming back and wanting to be involved in her life. And this little 3-episode arc, the getting ready for the Culture Festival professional wrestling bit, it's amusing, it's funny. Minorin plays, like, sort of the coach, and she has a bald cap with a scar, an eye patch, some buck teeth. It's a good moment, especially because it just pops up very suddenly. It's great. All of that, it's enjoyable and interesting, and it moves stuff forward in a positive way. The dad stuff, all trash. All of it, super bad. All of it, it's awkward. It has a weird, skewed, and inconsistent view about family, and Ryuji's a bit of an asshat all about it, because, like, she was abandoned by her dad, and Ryuji's like, do it, you have to, family is family, he's probably a really good guy, all because his own personal issues, and there's just some weird messages about family going on, that also get reiterated later. It's nice and weird, but yeah, the dad stuff, not good. The Culture Pro Wrestling show bit, really good. So, bit of a give and take here, right? And when Minorin, when she hears about Taiga's dad trying to come back, she's pissed. She's like, this is bullshit. No, fuck that guy. And Ryuji's like, why? He seems like such a good guy. And then they just don't communicate, and now Minorin is super mad at Ryuji, and Ryuji is super mad at her, all because they have different opinions and decide to not talk about it. Which, as we will see, as the show continues, the characters all get way worse at communicating. Like, they didn't start out great. By the end of the show, they are all some of the worst communicators I have ever seen. Literally, almost every single plot line by the end is, I'm not telling you this, you should just know. Oh, but now because you didn't tell me this happened, but I didn't tell you. And oh my god, it's one of the most annoying ways to create conflict, and the fact that more and more they use it as such a crutch, it is frustrating. But we get to the pro wrestling show. Taiga and her dad get a little bit closer together. And in the pro wrestling show, Taiga's like, hey, Ami, just for one of the shows, my dad's gonna be there, so could I play the good guy in one? And they agree, and it's all dandy. And so we see the first show, and there's a little bit of awkward moments, but it all works out. People fucking love the show. And then we are just told, sort of in passing at the end, that Taiga, hey, by the way, Taiga never played the good guy. And that's just how, like, that episode ends. It's very abrupt, and also something Toradora does repeatedly. Which I don't know why. It's a weird decision that they continue to do. Because it's not just like a cliffhanger where you have like a scene that sort of explains it, right? It's like, blah, 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 this is happening. Okay, by the way. And it's like, oh, okay. There's some weird decisions, is what I'm saying, Shaun.
I mean, to be fair, there's a lot of weird decisions in life.
Yeah, but these aren't like, these are storytelling. Then we end this 3-episode arc, which after everyone's done their shows and stuff, and every other class did a maid cafe. There's also a class pageant, and every class sends a female representative to be in the pageant, and Ami can't be in the pageant, she's the MC, so instead Taiga's in the pageant, which the dad also doesn't show for, and sends a message to Ryuji being like, hey, sorry, I'll be gone, let her know. Basically, the father storyline is just like a way worse version of the storyline in Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. Like, it's the exact same. Like, identical in structure, but this one's way fucking worse. Which once again, it's half of this story. The other half is solid. The other half of the chunk is solid. Everything relating to the dad, awkward as fuck. Speaking of awkward as fuck, we continue because they had the announcement, and now Ami is like, and Taiga's dad is here. Also, say hi, Taiga's dad, and no one is there. But that's the intro they agreed on. And so then, Taiga, she tries to leave, then she trips, and then she tears the dress. And then in, like, I think the most cringeworthy moment of the show.
Yes.
And it's, unfortunately, this bit isn't meant to be cringeworthy, and it's because it takes itself very seriously that it is quite cringeworthy. Ryuji starts a slow clap, and then it gets faster and Minorin, and then eventually everybody joins in. It's just, it's so cliche and awkward as fuck, and it made me cringe. It made me cringe real bad, and I did not like that bit. It's like there were some fun moments, but that bit, ooh, no siree. And Taiga, she steals the show. She starts speaking in the mic. She decides to do the talent section, which is her climbing into a bag, and that's it. And then Taiga wins, and then congrats. And then there's a Mr. Lucky Man race. So they race. But Minorin also decides to join in, and Ryuji is like, I don't want to win it for the prize that's the answers, but I also don't want to win it for the prize that's Taiga, but I do really want to win it. And Minorin also wants to win it, presumably more for Taiga, and she takes the lead, but then she just decides to kill everybody so that Ryuji can win, but then he goes back, and then they win together. Anyway, and then Taiga and, what's his fucking name? The other best friend.
Kitamura.
Kitamura. Yeah, there we go. Kitamura, Taiga and Kitamura, they dance at the end by a bonfire. It was a weird one. It was a weird one. Starts off a little rocky, I will say. I think that the next few episodes are decent. The next few episodes are pretty solid. But those three, hit and miss. Hit and miss. Not bad in of themselves, but had some bad moments. 100%. If you come to me and you're like, actually, the stuff with the dad was just like, that was the best part of the show, you're insane. You've lost your fucking mind.
Nobody thinks that, right? No worries. Nobody thinks that. No, you don't have to worry about that. It's the Christmas stuff that usually people talk about.
Oh, don't worry. We'll get there. We'll see how I feel about the Christmas stuff. So let's see. The next bit. All right. I feel like just the next episode I can just skip. There's a legend started that everyone who Taiga beat up became happy over the break, and so everybody wants Taiga to touch them. At one point, Ami validates their really sad teacher, which will just start a rapid growth in the teacher, who thus far has not had any of her shit together, but because she was complimented on her jacket, gets her life the fuck together. Yeah, other than that, there's not much that happens in this whole episode. There's some decent character moments. Like, it doesn't drive the plot forward, but it's a fine episode. There's some good character moments. Minorin has this fantastic bit where, like, they're buying, photographs, right, from the festival, and you choose which ones you're buying, and then you get them all. And she goes all in on this bit, talking about sacrificing 90 yen to summon 9 pictures and playing a magic or whatever. It's just like she goes all in, and it's so dumb and absurd, and I love it. Minorin, best character thus far. Easy.
Oh, I can agree with you there.
All right, then we get to episode 15. In episode 14, I literally wrote, they have no idea what to do with Kitamura. Because 15 episodes in, they have hardly done anything with Kitamura. And anything they have done, he is like doing this because of this other person. He has no like personality or existence himself. So in episode 15, they're like, oh shit, we need to do something with Kitamura. So we do everything with Kitamura all in one episode. They were like, fuck. One of our main characters, like the 4th or 5th biggest character in the entire show, has fucking nothing. and we are 15 episodes in. So yeah, this is the Kitamura episode. Kitamura starts acting very weird. He quits the council, has a breakdown, dyes his hair blonde, starts a fist fight. The council president, they know something, but they're not telling. Kitamura, he's skipping school. What's going on with Kitamura? And so it's all weird stuff going on. But turns out Kitamura, he even left home. He ran away from home. Now he's just chilling at Ryuji's house. But he's in a great mood. He's loving life still. He just is also having a breakdown. Are they like, hey, best friend of ours, so you good, buddy? Because it doesn't seem like you're good. Not really. They're just like, oh, okay, sure. I wonder what's up with him. Because they can't talk to each other. Nobody can talk to each other in this fucking show. And like they might try maybe once-ish. So they play games until late. Kitamura, Taiga, and Ryuji, they all sleep over at Ryuji's house playing games and doing stuff. Then later on they start, like, at one point there's like a little pity party thrown about like not being able to help Kitamura, and Taiga's just like super down on herself or whatever for basically no reason. It's a weird moment. And there's like, oh, if only I could help. Like, talk to the man. Jesus fucking Christ.
Talking is hard, though, Rem.
But they never fucking do it. And look, I understand talking is hard, but if you can never have any meaningful conversation with your friends, even when they're having a hard time, and even when you are actively causing them harm, like will repeatedly happen later, and you still can't even ask them, like, hey, what's going on? I'm a little bit confused and uncomfortable right now. Like, but that friendship ain't gonna work. It's real annoying. But, it also was only in episode 15 that I reiterated in my mind. I was like, okay, Kano, the president, and Ami are different people.
Yes.
One of them has slightly darker hair.
Yes.
No,
it's a mistake that to this day people make, myself included, in the first half of this podcast episode.
Yes, there were multiple scenes where I was like, I thought Ami was in the scene, but it was actually Kano, the president, who's way less relevant.
Yes.
But it just shows up sometimes. It was rough.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a slight error on character design, I would say.
Yes. Anyway.
Like, their personalities are completely different. It's just, they're both powerful ladies with bluish hair. It's like, okay, cool. Which one's which again?
So in the morning, the kids are all being loud, so Ryuji's mom gives them money to shut up and get the fuck out so she can sleep, which, relatable as fuck. They go play some baseball at the, like, I don't know what they're called.
Batting cages?
The baseball machines. Batting cages, there we go. Thank you, Shaun. You know so much about sports.
You know me. Love me some stickball.
So they bring him back, and Kitamura's dad apparently told Ryuji's mom that he wants Kitamura's hair back to its rightful color, and Ryuji's mom agrees to help, and Ryuji and Taiga, they just grab him. Once again, they're like, hey, fuck you, you're changing your hair back. They have a conversation with the man. Is all I'm asking. Like, your boy had quite a fucking breakdown. And, like, he's in a better mood now, but that, if anything, is more problematic if you know about mental health.
Yeah. But then again, this was made, in the early 2000s. Who knew about mental health
before mental
then?
health existed. Yeah, it's just, it's a bit, oh, God. But Kitamura, he escapes, and they're like, we need to get Kitamura to become president. Once again, still not being like, hey, what the fuck happened? They're like, this is what's best for him, goddammit. I don't know why he had a breakdown, but I am sure if we just force him to do what he refused to do, it will all be better. And the way they decide to dabble into accelerationist politics, by having Taiga announce her candidacy for president, and is like, either she will destroy the system, or Kitamura steps in because he's a good guy and prevents that from happening. So that's going on. You get the evil campaign going on into the next episode, right? And as it turns out, Kitamura is in love with the student council president. And the fact that she is going off to America, and Kitamura is just freaking out about that, which feels like something could have figured out. Also feels like something, hey, Ryuji, that's your best friend right there, bud. You had no idea about any of this? Pretty fucked up. pretty fucked up. You didn't know, and you didn't care to know. Literally just some rando calls Ryuji up on the phone and is like, hey, so here's the situation. And that's how we learn. That's how it's handled. You don't get a good, like, character moment. No, it's just, ta-da! Anyway, so, Kitamura, like, there's a chat and whatever going on, right? And, eventually, they're like, hey, Kitamura, you need to be the president. And then Kitamura's like, all right, everybody, I will be the president. And so you're like, all right, cool, that's resolved. But then he doesn't apply? He doesn't, like, fill in the application? So they're like, oh, shit, he hasn't filled in the application. He only has 10 minutes. So Ryuji goes to him, and he's like, you need to fill out the application, bucko. And Katamura's like, actually, nah, I'm not doing that, despite saying I would do that. Actually, though. And Ryuji's like, come on, bud, you gotta. And Kitamura's like, I don't know, man. I just don't know how to handle the Kano thing, and I need to, like, let her know how I feel, but also maybe apply. And then Kano shows up, the president, and she's like, listen here, little bitch boy, fucking do it. And she's like, okay, I will. So he applies, and he becomes the president. And then Kitamura becomes the student council president, and in his speech, he's like, by the way, I love Kano. And Kano's like, oh, what a jokester, and that's why he's gonna be such a great president. Good cover, Kano. Because good God, what a terrible move by Kitamura. Ryuji goes and talks with Kano, is like, you told him to do it. And she's like, I told him to apply, not to declare his fucking love for me. Kitamura is sad and crying. So then Taiga goes and fights Kano with kendo sticks. Which I'm just gonna say it, Kano did nothing fucking wrong up to this point. What the fuck, Taiga? What the actual fuck? So, they're just beating the shit out of each other with kendo sticks, which is a scene I didn't anticipate and is wildly unnecessary. It stopped, and they're like, you're heartless, Kano. Which, like, no, first of all, it's okay to reject a guy. That's fine. That is okay. But as it turns out, Kano does have feelings, but she knows that it won't work out because she's going away and he needs to stay here and some weird shit going on. I don't know, man. It's a weird moment. But Kano leaves and then Tai gets suspended. It's a weird moment. It's a weird ending.
And it's a very brutal scene, all things considered, in this, slice of life comedy drama.
I could admire the brutality, because, like, I'm all in if you're like, oh, look at this little chill slice of life rom-com, and then you're like, but it's gonna get a little intense right now. I'm all in on that type of bullshit, but you can't just do it for no fucking reason. And especially, you can't do it for no reason and then expect me to be super sympathetic towards the instigator of that.
I mean, the reasoning behind it for Taiga is primarily a combination of her feelings towards Kitamura mixed with the fact that she's got some serious anger issues.
Not okay.
No.
Not okay.
It's not okay. I never said it was.
I'll tell you what, Shaun. If a girl rejected you, right?
Right.
It made you real sad. Made you real sad.
Oh, yeah,
Broke your gosh darn heart.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to go and bring a kendo stick to beat the shit out of her. I'm not going to do that. And I would hope you wouldn't expect that of me, because it would be unhinged.
Look, Rem.
If I did that, people would be like, hey, Rem, what the fuck are you doing? And I'm like, she hurt my friend. And it's like, what'd she do? She said no to him when he asked her out in a very awkward public setting. It's like... What the fuck?
But Rem, can you even call yourself my friend if you're not willing to slap a bitch with a sword?
Oh, God. It's just real weird. It's just real weird. Anyway, so now we get to the Christmas arc, which, Merry Christmas, everyone. The Christmas arc is trash. The Christmas arc is hot garbage. The Christmas arc, it fucked with my head a bit, because it sort of feels like a different fucking show. Oh man. it messed with me. First of all, new intro that is not nearly as good
Oh, yeah,
as the
no.
old one.
Everybody agrees with that.
Like, first one, it turned on. I was like, it's a fucking bop, dude. Hell yeah. It had a lot better, like, energy and pizzazz, even in the visuals. The new one starts in episode 17. Mediocre. Not, whatever. A premonition of what's coming this episode. Alright. Okay. How do you even fucking explain this episode? So, Minarine messes up an important game of softball and is super broken up about it and decides sort of like fuck everything, largely due to that, feeling like she let everyone down. Now she's having a bit of a meltdown of sorts, which, hey, once again, good thing she has a bunch of really close friends by her side. They don't give a shit. I mean, they give a shit, but they don't do anything. But anyway, so Minari, it's a different side of Minari, but there's somewhat of reason. We see that Taiga, she's all in on Christmas. She loves it. She sort of ish believes in Santa. Which was a brief rant on lollies for a moment. Why do they all have to be infantilized and have childlike personalities? Be immature, believe in Santa. Look, all I'm saying is it doesn't help the argument that, oh no, I'm into lollies, but I'm not into children. But I do like my lollies who both look and act like children. Like, bud? Buddy? I don't know about that. I don't know.
I will also clarify that they are still, teenagers at this point. So it's,
It's real weird. But Taiga, she loves Christmas, and that means she has an entire personality. It's literally the first time we see, like, very kind, generous, and cheerful Taiga. And it's not it's just like, boom, it's Christmas, so she's kind and cheerful. Also, the show becomes much more slapstick in this episode. Like, just a lot of high-energy, wacky comedy that's going on, which, not a bad thing. But it's just really weird. Kitamura has, like, oodles more personality now. He still doesn't have much of a personality, but he is sometimes zany. So there's that. And Ryuji stays about the same. But yeah, episode 17, you go in and the characters are behaving wildly different. You got different intro. The tone of the show is different. It's a little fucking weird. It threw me for a loop, especially because, like, despite my complaints, I was vibing with the show at that point. Like, up to episode 16, there were plenty of flaws, but I was like, I'm enjoying myself. This was weird. This was some weird shit, Shaun. So, to sort of explain more of what happens in this episode, Kitamura has become the patron saint of broken hearts. And I will not explain that because it's virtually meaningless. A school Christmas party is announced. We have a really weird bunny girl Christmas dream vignette from Dude Bro. Don't know why that was there. Minarine is not going to the Christmas party. At this point, this is like the part where Dude Bro and Dude Bro's friend become relevant, as well as a girl named Kahara. And not very relevant. Like, I was like, oh, are they gonna do something with them? No, but they're on screen more. Kahara, she's just another girl. That's it. Literally the whole personality. And then Dude Bro 2 is trying to help Kitamura and Taiga get together, which makes Ryuji sort of jealous, even though that's theoretically what Ryuji was also trying to do. Also, Dude Bro 2 has very little motivation to be doing that in the first place. But then Kahara, maybe partially due to her crush on Kitamura, is rooting for Ryuji to end up with Taiga. It's just a weird fucking episode, y'all. Episode 17? Weird. Like, I do not get it. Then episode 18, we start with a chat with the teacher that has no purpose but lasts multiple minutes. I just feel like I've been sent in the Twilight Zone for the Christmas arc at this point, because, like, nothing has happened, but what has happened is fucking weird. Minarine is acting strange. At one point, Ryuji and Ami are left alone, and Ami has a crush on Ryuji as well, because why not for the shippers, It doesn't go anywhere, but hey, let's throw that bait. We got final exams, and after final exams, Taiga has a bunch of presents for everybody, including for needy kids. Look at her. She's a good person. She's not a completely awful human, but she is an awful human. We see her Santa memory. Then we get to party prep, and they set up this beautiful little tree, right? And then right as they hang it up, Taiga's like, oh, but I do also, this is super valuable and important to me, this star. Let's use this. Also, it's very important and fragile and important. And it immediately gets destroyed. You know, because that's what I like my foreshadowing just done exactly like this. My foreshadowing, oh, what a shame it would be if anything happened to it. And then something happened to it. Just, you know, truly a work of art. I do like what happened to it because Minarine had tossed a ball that knocked the tree and the star over, right? So Minarine is like now even more down on herself. The ornament bit was a bit forced, but the Minarine bit, good plot point, nice and interesting. So Minarine freaking the fuck out. She's like trying to repair it all by herself, even though it's basically an impossible task. Ryuji helps and she's like, no. And he's like, but yes, though. And they fix it and it's exactly the same quality as it was before. And then Ryuji is like, hey, but what if maybe we went to the party? And then Minarine is like, nope. That's the end of the episode. All right. So then we get to episode 19. Episode 19, we're still in the Christmas arc. Minarine not answering calls. But Taiga and Ryuji, they get all dressed up for the Christmas party, get ready to go. Taiga's like, I'm gonna be your Cupid, let's do this. The teacher's gonna attend a real estate seminar to become a businesswoman, become a better person. Kitamura, he's shirtless Santa. We get, at one point, Taiga and Ami they just start singing. Don't know why. Well, I know why. It's so that the fans can be like, oh, my cute girls. That's it. That's the whole reason. Minarine is sad at home, and Taiga, after singing, she just fucking leaves, and Ami tells Ryuji that Taiga fucking left. And Ami is like, I can't believe that. At this point, Ami becomes cryptic as fuck. Everything Ami will say to Ryuji from this point, it's both obvious, but at the same time meaningless. She's like, oh, I knew this situation would cause so many problems, and Ryuji's like, what? And she's like, you still don't understand, do you? And like, often that'll be the whole conversation. And they have that like 10 times. It's so much. It's like trying to play father to Taiga, but also you're both in love with each other, obviously, but that bit I won't say, I'll just strongly imply, and you still won't get it, but I'll never clarify anything. It's just fucking talk to one another like normal fucking people, please. Jesus fucking Christ. It's one of the reasons I start to just get real frustrated, because nobody is communicating properly. Taiga goes to Minarine and is like, hey, Minarine, please go to the party. Ryuji's not leaving until you arrive. And she succeeds. And then Taiga goes home and she falls asleep and then is woken up. But, alright, so understand the chronology. She did fall asleep, but also she can't have for like more than 2 minutes. Because a giant terrifying Santa bear comes in and she's like, Santa, it's real. And they play and then she falls on him and it's Ryuji and she's like, oh, thank you so much. But also, Minarine, I did tell her that you'd be at the party, so you should probably go there. And he's like, shit, okay, will do. And he runs off, right? But then Taiga is like, but actually, oh no, I am in love with you, don't leave, but he's gone. And then Minarine sees Taiga as Minarine is going to the party. So, in the time it took Taiga to go home, fall asleep, be woken up by creepy bear Santa Ryuji, they have their moment together. She informs him everything about Minarine and sends him off to the party, waits a few minutes, and then chases after him. In that time, Minarine is getting around Taiga's house. Do I understand that correctly, Shaun?
More or less, yeah.
Cool, alright.
There are little details here and there, but primarily you got it.
Yeah, and so Minarine sees that, and she's like, oh no. So then she Ryuji's like, oh shit, I don't have my phone, no way to contact anybody. Oh, this is fucked up. And then Minorin just pops up out of nowhere. She knows what's going on perfectly. And she goes up to Ryuji and is like, hey, have a cryptic rejection. I don't need UFOs anymore. And then runs away. And there's, like, it's all fucking weird, dude. It's all real weird. This Christmas arc is trash, dude. And at one point, Taiga's like, she's so sad. She's like, if Minorin and Ryuji end up together, then I won't be able to hang out with Ryuji anymore or spend time with him. What the fuck are you talking about? What actually the fuck are you talking about? Just because you ignore all of your friends when you're romantically interested doesn't mean that others have to. Here's a heads up, everybody. Friendships don't need to end when romantic relationships start. That is just irrelevant spheres. All right? Real weird. Real fucking what the fuck is this, Shaun? What the fuck is going on?
A result of early 2000s media.
I understand that the characters are teens, soon to be adults. It feels a little bit like it was written by teens a lot of the time at this stage. We get to episode. So that was the Christmas arc, by the way. That was it. There we go. Not great.
And that's what people wanted us to get to at least.
Oh, guys, I'm so sorry to disappoint you. I was hyped for it. It's the second worst arc. The worst arc still to come. And don't worry, it'll anger people. At this point, though, before continuing on, because we have quite a few episodes left. Oh boy. I want to revisit what I said at the beginning here of what I said in our first revisit of Toradora, right?
Mm-hmm.
And 2 points that I made. One, does not give enough attention or care to the secondary characters. 100% still agree. Like Kitamura had his episode, irrelevant still. And from this point forward, he has moments. He does not matter. Minorin, she has a lot more moments, but Minorin has, I wouldn't call it development. She just becomes bad. She becomes real bad. Instead of being fun and bubbly, but still like pretty aware and decently smart, she just becomes non-communicative and a little bit bitchy. Ami, she becomes more cryptic and weird, but most of her core is still there. She's fine. She makes it out of here. But that point, 100%. But then the other point, Taiga is just tsundere with nothing more. 100%. And in fact, Taiga... I waited at this point. I didn't want to open with this because it would anger everybody. Taiga's the worst part of this fucking show, y'all. Taiga, worst part of the show, so fucking awful. So bad. Like, immensely, ridiculously bad. As a character, as a person. Like, if she were sort of in... For example, Ami's role, where you're a secondary, tertiary sort of shit stirrer, right? Who can still have some good moments, some nice friendship moments or whatever, right? I think that would be more okay. But she is not just a main character, she is the most important character. Even far more important than Ryuji. Fundamentally, Toradora is a story about Taiga. And that's unfortunate because Taiga is trash. She is fucking awful.
So, folks, you happy you guys banded together to get this episode? You must be real thrilled right about now.
I'll tell you what, but around, like, genuinely, right before the Christmas arc, I was like, you know, I think a lot of my opinions still pretty valid, but at least I'll end up saying mostly positive things. Fucking Taiga, dude. She's so bad. What redeeming fucking quality does she even have? And, like, we'll get into it because it continues to be bad, but I understand why someone like Taiga can be interested in Ryuji because she's hyper dependent on him and he gives her absolutely everything and care and attention and gifts, and she treats him like utter garbage, but then will occasionally have one nice moment and also will beat the shit out of him. Like, guys, they need to grow a lot. Frankly, in my perfect ending for the show, I think Taiga, like, ends up alone and learns that she has to, but can, grow by herself. Which, like, they briefly touch on for, like, 2 episodes-ish. They poke at it. But No, yeah, no, it's not good enough. She's real bad. And I think the reason she gets a pass is haha cute anime girl. Am I wrong?
I'm not gonna contradict you, but what I am gonna say is, this is where you're gonna get most of the upset people, because there.
See, I knew it. That's why I put it halfway in.
Yeah, like just for a frame of reference, on Mal you can favorite characters, and there'll be a little number next to it as to how many people favorite this character. It's like a lesser used function, so I don't usually bring it up, but it's very relevant to bring up in this case, because Taiga currently has about 18,000 favorites, give or take. And whenever people bring up the tsundere trope, like in its purest, like undistilled, raw, painful form, they usually bring up Taiga.
Well, and see, here's the thing. I've mentioned this before. First, as I mentioned before, she's nothing but tsundere. Nothing beyond that. I suppose, wait, really likes Santa Claus. All right, boom. She's a tsundere who really likes Santa. We finally got something on the list that's not basic tsundere. It's not much better. It's something. And the problem is tsunderes are not good relationship partners.
Oh, excuse me. I got that number wrong. It was 30,000. I was looking at an old number.
They're not healthy relationship partners. You need communication. You need some sense of mutual effort. And tsunderes, by definition, go against that. Now, you can have specific people who have tsundere traits, but who have other favorable traits where it could still work out. But a pure tsundere, that's an unhealthy relationship, y'all. It's not a good one. It's high maintenance, no reward. It's not okay. All right? It's not good. If you have like a humiliation fetish. Sure. I don't know, man. Follow your dreams.
I mean, you are talking to the right community for that. It's got to be said.
But if you're talking about fulfilling relationships, nah, man. It's just not how that goes. Let me put it this way. If you're with a tsundere, you probably deserve better than a tsundere. Anyway, so I just wanted to address those points before we continued on.
I mean, everybody who had any hope for this episode is left already, so you're probably safe to say whatever you want now.
See, that's what I was thinking. I thought I would crush their will with the Christmas arc. And by that point, I'd be mostly safe.
I mean, like, mostly safe is a thing. There are going to be some people who listen to this. You know, it's like when you have a relationship with somebody that you extremely dislike, but for whatever reason you get something good out of it. That's exactly what people are going to do with this.
They'll send hate emails being like, Remington, you're totally wrong. You don't fucking understand. But then they will not address any of my points. They will just ignore those completely, which, God, you guys have no idea how often that happens.
It's literally every other complaint email we get, actually.
It's ridiculous. Like, guys, I'm not always right, but when I'm wrong, you gotta back it up. you gotta bring up something. Anyway, so there's a New Year's festival that Kitamura and Taiga go to, and they see each other together. Ryuji is out with a serious flu. But then we skip over that break and we get back and Ryuji's back and Taiga is ignoring Ryuji. But then when she talks to him is like, I blame myself for Minorin rejecting you because I'm always spending time with you and giving the wrong impression. Which, you know, that would be a fantastic conversation to have with, I don't know, Minorin. That'd be a real gal conversation. Being like, hey, you know, I think you got the wrong impression. I think you should go for it because I think you like him. Right? That'd be a nice little conversation to have. Then Minorin would say like the exact same thing and they'd be like, oh, okay. We're best friends communicating about our feelings with one another with the person we trust most in this world because we are best friends. But that does not happen. There's a class trip planned. They're going to go to Okinawa. But unfortunately, their hotel burnt down, so instead they're going to the mountains. They're going on a skiing trip. On the skiing trip, Ryuji is now super bitter, and Ryuji's become an asshole. So he's like ignoring Kitamura and stuff. Ryuji genuinely, he has a character regression through this series, and it starts around now after Minorin's rejection. Where he started out pretty mature and stable, around now, he is a bit of a selfish, careless asshole who's really immature. So, Taiga, she improves a small inch, and Ryuji degrades a yard. So if that's the character development you wanted, hey, there you go. So at one point, Ryuji and Minorin are talking, and Taiga interferes to make them have to walk together. And they start talking, and it seems all good and nice, right? But still, at this point, Minorin becomes less of a person and more just a mysterious object of affection, right? What is she thinking? What is she feeling? What's going on inside of her head? Well, have you tried talking to her? Of course not. Why would I talk to the person who's my close friend and who I have a crush on, or my best friend in this whole wide world? Why would I talk to them to figure out what they're thinking or feeling? I just need to act awkward around them and try to analyze. What the fuck? So a group meets together at Taiga's place, and they're all planning the thing, and there's a big long moment of everybody being like, this is nice. And that's the whole moment. Cool. Episode 21, they go up to the mountains. They're skiing. Taiga's sledding because she can't ski. Ryuji is like, hey, it's pretty weird that suddenly you're automatically okay about Kitamura, and you're not acting like weird around him. And Taiga's like, don't worry about it. Kahara, the random girl, gets in an argument with Dude Bro 2. That happens. It really doesn't matter. They end up making up, and they'll end up in a relationship at the end. Why not? Ryuji hangs out with Minorin, and Minorin talks about how she wants to help others. She doesn't believe that Taiga likes I just said his name. Shaun. Kitamura. Oh god, there's so many fucking names, dude. Then finally we get something that should have happened 10 episodes ago. At one point, Ryuji hanging out with the other boys in sort of the room they have together, right? And they're all talking together. And Ryuji, he's come to believe that it's hopeless, that he will never learn what Minorin really thinks about him. I will point out he has tried literally nothing at this point. And he has this little bit all about how he'll never know. Which, what the fuck, bud? Do we want to try anything? But we have a really nice little scene where the boys are all chatting together, and Ryuji is like, yeah, I like Minorin, and all the boys are like, oh my god. And he's like, yeah, but she rejected me, and they're like, what? Rejecting our boy? And it was just so nice to see any friendly interactions at all that weren't exclusively centered around both Ryuji and Taiga. It should have happened 10 episodes ago. I'm just glad it's happening at all. So they're like, let's go talk to Minorin about it. Let's figure it out, boy. So they go march to the girls' room, and none of the girls are there. So all the boys decide to creep on the girls' room. But then Taiga arrives, so they all hide in the closet together. And then the other girls are coming to return, and they bring Taiga into the closet with them. And they're like, don't worry about it. Keep quiet. Then we get another interesting scene where the girls are all talking now, right? And Ami calls out Minorin, being like, hey, so why are you pretending? Why are you pretending that, one, that you don't have feelings, and two, that, nothing is going on when stuff is obviously going on right now? And Minorin is like, it creates a really nice moment where Minorin yells at Ami, and Ami is like, yeah, but I'm fucking right, though. And I can appreciate that Ami, while being a bitch, is the only one to deal with any amount of confrontation for proper communication. She's the only one who knows what the fuck is going on, and also the only one to bring up these conversations. Which, frankly, y'all, you need. You need this. So, at one point, Ami and Ryuji are talking, right? Ami, sort of blames herself for Minorin rejecting Ryuji, but they're interrupted by Taiga and Minorin. And then Ami calls out Minorin, while Ami yells at Minorin, and then they straight up fight. Once again, boom, fist fight. This one, a little bit more justified. Or at least it makes sense, within the narrative. Far more than the fucking kendo stick battle from before.
Right.
There's some commotion. Minarin's lost hair clip, which was a gift from Ryuji, very important. It gets lost into the snow, so Taiga follows it, and apparently immediately, though we don't see it immediately, falls down a snowy hill and hits her head open and gets knocked the fuck out, almost guaranteed concussion. She also gets buried in the snow, and that lasts for hours? Like, it takes, they're like, oh man, where'd Taiga go? She's lost. Oh, I hope she returns. It's like, motherfucker, she's fucking dead, dude. So our main trio of Ryuji, Minarin, and Kitamura all go to search. They immediately find her because it's like very obvious, and Ryuji goes to pick her up and rescue her. Which once again, she's bleeding, unconscious, definitely concussed, and has been buried in the snow unconscious for hours. Just want to clarify all of these things. It's all fine. What the fuck?
It's fine. She's small. She can hibernate. It's fine.
Yeah, you know, the smaller you are, the better you conserve heat, right? That's how that works?
Yeah, no, it's all the heat is compressed into one small shape.
Yeah.
Therefore, it stays there longer.
So as Ryuji is bringing her out, she, apropos of nothing, she's like, oh, are you Ryuji? No, you're Kitamura. I mean, she's concussed, so it makes a little bit more sense. And she's like, oh, Kitamura, I love Ryuji, which is evidently what she and Kitamura were talking about at the New Year's Festival that we saw half a scene from. And then they fall. Pretty dramatic little point to have them fall back down the hill, right? Yeah, so episode 22, they're all back in class. We start episode 22 with a real weird fucking moment where Ryuji screams Taiga's name as loud as possible in class. And we learn that Ryuji and Taiga, they're doing all right. That fall, episode 21, nothing. Don't worry about it. It was sudden and also meaningless. Ryuji asks Kitamura to lie to Taiga if she asks me, like, hey, so just tell her you were the one who carried her up because I can't handle confrontation. We get a meaningless scene, ramen with the boys, with a ramen master who sprays broth everywhere. Cool. The mom gets a new job, Ryuji's mom. She's working real hard. And Ryuji feels a little bad about that. Taiga finally arrives. She hasn't been to school. She's been ignoring Ryuji. For no reason, she's been ignoring Ryuji. For literally just no reason. That's not exaggeration. There is no reason. But she arrives, beats the shit out of Ryuji, also for no reason. And Ryuji's like, well, that solidifies it. I'm in love with Taiga. And that's the whole of episode 22. Another weird there are a lot of just weird fucking episodes. Episode 23, Taiga and Ryuji are talked about by their teacher about their career plan. Once the teacher leaves, Taiga talks about how she wants normal love and how hard it is to be a rich girl. Ami and Ryuji at one point talk, and Ami talks about how she wanted to save Taiga from getting hurt. Ryuji's mom is sick, and he blames himself for her, like, collapsing and being sick and struggling. So he decides to get a job with Taiga. They work at a little chocolate shop. Nice little chocolate scene. Weirdly, like, a lot of the stuff that I'm skipping out on are the good bits. Which it's not because, like, I want to make the show look bad. It's because they don't matter to the plot, but they're also the best bits. Because they're the more slice of life elements, right? And the show, it has nice dialogue. The characterization's pretty decent. When the characters are interacting with each other, it's pretty enjoyable most of the time. When they're trying to move forward the plot with Taiga and Ryuji, it shows often good in spite of that rather than because of that. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. So Taiga gets chocolates for everybody. She gets chocolates, but then she buys chocolates to melt down the chocolates and make new chocolates from the chocolates she bought.
Okay. All right. So this is a very common thing. The general idea is so Valentine's Day in Japan, Remington, is a bit different than it is anywhere else. They take it a little bit more seriously, generally speaking.
Sure.
And one of the ways for to show that you really care about somebody is to quote unquote make the chocolate yourself. A lot of times it involves taking it and reshaping it into a new custom shape. usually like a heart or like it just depends on how much, like the more effort you put into it is usually equivalent to how much you care about the person, generally speaking. It's very indirect and very interesting. Also, it's usually only the girls that give chocolates to the guys, and then there's another holiday down the line called White Day, where the guys will get something to the people who gave them chocolate in general. It's a very interesting version of the custom, but that's why. That's why. It's a cultural thing, and you should be careful about what you say next, is all I'm going to say.
Perfect. Hey, as with many cultural things, including here in America, it's a bit silly.
Okay.
But it's okay. It's okay that it's a bit silly. So, she gives out the chocolates, and Taiga mentions Kitamura carrying her, and Minori notices her say that because she knows that Ryuji carried Taiga, and Minori doesn't know what's going on, but she knows there's some bullshit in the air. And Minori's like, hey, what the fuck? What the fuck are you talking about? Ryuji was the one that carried you. And then Taiga's like, panic! And then Kitamura and Ami block the doors, and Taiga freaks the fuck out, as does Minorin. And then Taiga runs away dramatically, and Minorin is like, I'm going to follow Ryuji, will you? And the drama, especially in this scene, it's sort of reached reality TV levels. And however you interpret I mean that, you're probably right. It's like, guys, don't get me wrong, I can enjoy some like trashy romance, right? Where it's like, oh my god, these crazy bitches. I can enjoy that. This show isn't trying to be that, though. This show is trying to be like, wow, how heartfelt, how human, how emotional. That's not how you accomplish that. Just the drama and the melodrama. The characters all screaming at one another for very little basis. Just talk to one another, you fucks. Jesus Christ.
It was the early 2000s, Rem. You can't talk to each other in the early 2000s media. It doesn't work that way.
Oh, God forbid. Minori and Ryuji, they go after... Alright, so first of all, episode 24, it's a fucking doozy. Like, I feel like they were ready for like 28 episodes and were like, oh shit. They got informed around episode 24, which already had quite a bit. Episode 23, rather. Which already had quite a bit. And they were like, hey, actually, only 25 episodes, only 3 more to go. And they were like, fuck. So they cram it all the fuck in there. So are you prepared to go warp fucking speed? They chase after Taiga, and while they're chasing after Taiga, Minorin confesses her love for Ryuji. She falls flat on her face. They don't catch Taiga. Minorin falls flat on her face. They go to the nurse's office, where Minorin motivates Ryuji to follow Taiga and chase after her because she knows that Ryuji also loves Taiga. Apparently he fails because the next time he sees Taiga is working at the chocolate shop, and she shows up. And they spend it there, and Taiga's like, remind me to tell you something once we get off work. So they get off work, and they're getting ready to talk. But then, all of a sudden, Ryuji's mom and Taiga's mom, first time we're seeing her, they show up. And Taiga's mom wants to take Taiga home and take her away. And Ryuji's mom yells at Ryuji for working because she doesn't want him to work because he's a special little boy. And Ryuji just, like, really gets deep cuts onto his mom talking about how she's just not a respectable person, which feels wildly unnecessary, my dude. Then Ryuji and Taiga, they run away together. We get some exposition about Taiga's mom. Before, like, Taiga and Ryuji, they're talking on a bridge and throw a little bit of a pity party for themselves. And then Taiga pushes Ryuji off the bridge.
And he dies.
And he dies.
That's the end of it.
He's just fucking dead. Well, it is interesting because she's like, don't jump off the bridge and kill yourself. And then she pushes him onto the bridge. And might I know, it is extremely shallow water. Like, it is 8 inches of water or so. For a good 25, 30-foot drop at least. He's fine. In fact, she goes and jumps and joins him. And Ryuji's like, let's run away and get married. And then they're like, all right, let's say we love each other first. But then they get a phone call, and it's Kitamura. And he's like, hey, come over to my house. And it's to escape their moms. and Ami and Minorin are also there. And Ami gets Ryuji to declare his love for Taiga out loud. And they tell the friends about their plans to go run away and get married together. And their friends are like, this is a terrible idea. But Minorin is like, hey, you know those like 8 part-time jobs I'm doing? Here's all the money that you need for that. And Ami's like, here's my beach house. And Kitamura's like, here's some rice vouchers. And so then they go, Taiga and Ryuji, they go off to go suddenly get married. And then Minorin cries to Ami and is like, oh God, I'm just so sad. And Ami's like, is it because you're losing Taiga or because you're losing Ryuji, or is it both? And Minorin's like, sadness. Ryuji, he gets home to grab a few things real quick and not be caught by his mom, but his mom isn't even there. She ran away and she took the bird too. So then we see that Taiga and Ryuji, they got on a train going away, and then they go and they visit Ryuji's grandparents. And that episode 24? It's one episode, my dude.
Would you like to know?
It's one fucking episode.
This might make a little bit more sense for you then. So the entire Toradora light novel series is 10 volumes total.
8 of them. Episode 24.
Yeah, it's not too far off, honestly. Actually, I don't have the exact ratios because I haven't read them. But if I'm not mistaken, I think the last 2 episodes are a full novel.
Oh, Jesus Christ! It's
and the novels are
so
about
much.
200 to 300 pages each.
there's
So
so much, dude.
it's a lot. It's a lot.
Also, you all can't even tell each other that you love each other. Ryuji, you're just straight up, you're being abused in this relationship, and you're about to run away and get married apropos of nothing? You dumb motherfuckers. And then the friends just endorsing this, like, where, Ami, you're the voice of reason, speak some fucking sense into these motherfuckers. Anyway, episode 25, Ryuji's mom shows up to the grandparents' house and is surprised to see Ryuji because, and Toradora does this a lot, off screen, Ryuji lied and said that he hurt himself to get the mom to show up to the grandparents' house. We learn about Ryuji's dad and how he ran off. Ryuji and Taiga, they're going to be sleeping in the same room, and they're super embarrassed about it. And guys, I'm going to give some life advice just out here generally. If you're embarrassed about sleeping in the same room as somebody and like being around somebody, maybe don't get married. That's my hot take. That's my controversial hot take.
You do have to remember that they are teenagers in Japan, Remington. That's another cultural thing going on there.
They're about 18. They emphasize that.
Yep.
That is old enough to know better, my man.
Well, maybe in America, or actually, hell, half the time not even in America. Like, I don't know, man. I remember high school, and there were a lot of people our age making really stupid decisions of a similar nature.
Sure, stupid decisions. Like, this isn't even just about getting married too early. This is getting married to someone you started a relationship with that day and who you are uncomfortable being in any way romantic with, or telling them you love them, or sharing the same room, or talking to like a person. That's lots of red flags, my dude. It's all blood red at that point. So, they have a little pretend wedding at night, and they have a nice dry kiss. I say dry kiss, it's emphasized how dry it is. Then, Taiga, she goes home, tries to find her mom, gets some angry, emotional voicemails from her mom. And then she leaves a letter to Ryuji. She's like, oh, I'll see you at dinner, Ryuji, with you and your mom, just like normal. Things will be fine. Leaves a letter for him, doesn't show up for dinner, and then the teacher announces to everyone, hey, Taiga's actually leaving with their mom. So, you know. And Minori goes to Ryuji, he's like, hey, what the fuck? Where the fuck did Taiga go, Ryuji? And Ryuji's like, she just disappeared out of nowhere, which, maybe another sign that, like, she's not fucking ready for this shit. There's some, like, message and stuff about Star and whatever. They send a picture back to her. The bird finally says its name. And then at the end of the year, Taiga returns, and when she returns, school's out, everyone's talking outside, right, outside of the campus, and Taiga's strategy was to go into their classroom, hope that she was seen, and then hide in a locker and hope that Ryuji popped in and that she would surprise him, which all of that works out, except Ryuji checks the locker and sees her. And she's like, I wanted to surprise you, which she could have, but then for some reason didn't. Because you got to get the fake out of like, oh, is she not actually there? Anyway, Ryuji's like, hey, Taiga, I love you. And she physically assaults him. And that's how we end the series. So now I've seen it all.
And everybody who asked you to see it is either pissed or crying. So good work, Rem.
I'm just saying.
Hope you're happy.
Guys, you all, including you, Shaun, including you all said, oh no, when you see more, you will understand the points you made, they are not correct. Here's the fucking thing. I fucking nailed it in the last revisit. I was totally correct. Like, yeah, turns out 5 hours was enough. And now I have the whole entire show to reemphasize that fact, y'all. Which I want to now double down. It's not a bad show. It's a fine show. Taiga's absolute trash as a character. I thought that there were moments where I thought the show was going to be a 7, and then it went down to a 6.5. Now it's probably around, I think, a 6 or a 5.5 for me. Which is still good. It's a good show. But let me put it this way. If I would have seen the show when I was like between 11 and 14, maybe 15, right? Oh yeah. It'd be tugging at my heartstrings. I'd be like, oh, super invested, all in. It would leave me emotionally vacant on the inside afterwards. I'd be like, oh, fuck. If only there was more. All of those things. And so for all those people in that category who saw it in that time of their life and feel a great nostalgia for it, I understand. That's fine. It's okay. Just like I would say the same about the people who have similar opinions about Twilight novels.
Oh,
look, fuck. It's fun to bash on these. No, look, it's fun to bash on things like Twilight.
No.
But I think it gets more criticism than it deserves. Now, there's a lot of deserved criticism. Sure. But if you're like in that 11 to 15 range and you're enjoying it and it's striking a chord with you, that's fine. That's okay. It doesn't need to be amazing quality to accomplish that, and it doesn't invalidate how you feel about it. But if you came up to me, so if you tell me that's how you feel about Twilight, totally cool. I get it. But then if you tell me, Twilight really deserved a Pulitzer, one of the greatest romances of our age, well, now we're going to have a strong disagreement.
Fuck, dude. I was about to agree with you until you made the Twilight comparison. Because now I legitimately can't, because guess what, Rem? I watched this series when I was, 2008 when it first came out was when I saw it, so I would have been around that age range. And guess what? Twilight also came out around that age range. I read them around the same time, and y'all, I hated Twilight back then. And
well, yeah, but you're a weeb, so there's some weeb biases going on.
Okay, listen here, fuckface.
But let's hear. I'm gonna say it. People were like, "Oh, Edward, so good," and others were like, "Wow, he's a real abusive asshole." Y'all, Taiga is just Edward fucking Cullen.
Oh,
she's also an abusive asshole.
Oh God.
Am I right? Is she not an abusive asshole? Shaun, let me ask you: is there any situation where you would see a relationship like that going on with one of your friends and you wouldn't be like, hey, is everything good? Because it does not seem good. Because I would do that with any of my friends if I saw that going on.
I mean, just because it has happened in the past and I have seen it multiple times, does...
And unfortunately, the putting the tsundere ideal on a pedestal has led to a lot of people, including far too many exes of both of ours, to behave in similar ways, thinking that it's cute or charming or positive. And guys, it's not. Having poor communication and being physically violent, that's not a good relationship. Like, Ryuji gave everything to her. And what, at the end, all right, it turns out it's good that she's dependent on him. No, guys, don't worry. At one point, she did her own dishes. Oh, okay, cool. I guess she's really grown up as a person then. Like, Taiga is a god-awful character Toradora, despite that, and despite centering around Taiga as the primary focus of the entire show, still a good show. Not an amazing show by any means. Still a good show. And if you adore Taiga, if you're like, hey, tsuneres are my fucking jam, I'm sure you'll fucking adore this show. You'll be all the fuck in. But no can do on my end.
You had to bring Twilight into the occasion, though. That's what I'm stuck on.
No, here's the thing. I think it's a great example because it's deliberately provocative, but at the same time, the entire point is that I think Twilight deserves a lot of critique, but doesn't deserve nearly as much hate.
I don't know. I've got strong opinions on that series. Also,
As do I. Look, if we did an episode on Twilight, you would hear me lay out all of my endless critiques, and it would almost 100% chance be worse than Toradora. Almost guarantee that by the end I would feel that way. But the parallels, I believe, are strong enough to be made in the arguments that I listed.
we're never doing an episode on Twilight. It ain't fucking happening. Don't put that thought into their heads, Remington. They're going to start sending email requests about it to make it a bullshit April Fool's episode, and I do not want that. I will die.
Hey, we finally had an April Fool's episode where I showed you an anime.
Fuck off. Fuck off. No, you're trying to take credit again. You can't do that shit.
This is an April Fool's episode. I want to make it abundantly
It is
clear.
so not. It is so not.
It is. It is.
No, absolutely not. I fucking refuse.
You can deny it all that you want, but it is. So, voice of the people, you're welcome, everybody.
You
including
thieving prick.
those-
You're not allowed to take credit for this. No, you knew we were planning this for feckin' weeks after they all unionized, you jackass.
Oh, man.
I'm gonna...
But yeah, long story short, I'm gonna get crucified for my opinions, but I was the one who spent a week binging this fucking anime after so many people said 5 hours wasn't enough to make an opinion. Oh no, let's go for 12. And no, I've backed up my points. If you disagree with me, that's okay. And once again, I like the show. I give it a thumbs up. And if you adore the show, even if it's for nostalgic reasons, that's okay. That's totally valid. But your enjoyment of the show is not equivalent to the show's quality. So I just want to make that clear.
Oh my Christ. Well, as always, direct your emails at Remington because I don't want to hear it. But so then I guess I have to ask Rem, do you have any guesses on the score of this show, the Mal score specifically?
Oh, I mean, we've done this, but it was like 8 point something, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. I'm just remembering if you remember it.
4? Something crazy.
Yeah. Well, interestingly enough, actually, Rem, the score has changed a little bit from if I recall correctly. I didn't re-listen to the episodes, but I do remember it being higher distinctly. But currently, Toradora with 1.14 million ratings, which is one of the highest we've ever had, is currently sitting at 8.14, which, if I'm not mistaken, I think that's a few, 10th positions lower than it used to be.
I'm just saying, guys, nostalgia and the power of tsundere nonsense is very powerful. You guys can't let that translate to anger towards me, all right? Look, you need to go on the journey that you seem to believe that Taiga did and need to get some independence and learn to free yourself from the irrational rage, all right?
Oh,
now, I don't
geez.
think Taiga went on that journey, but evidently you guys do. So... Be the Taiga you think is there, not the Taiga I think is there.
Oh, Jesus Christ. And just for frame of reference, just in case you're curious, if we're comparing it to other shows in the same ranking system, Toradora is literally 2 slots above No Game, No Life in terms of score. And about...
of course.
About a dozen slots beneath the second season of Quintessential Quintuplets. So that's...
Fuck off, all of you fuckers!
That shows...
Fuck out of here!
That's where the rating system is on this. It's
real reliable.
It's ranked number 385 out of all anime on the site, which is both hilarious, and I noticed that comparison when I was doing my notes on this, and I just had to bring it up because I knew that would be worth mentioning.
Well, the episode, it lasted forever just like we thought. Let's round things out, Shaun.
All right. So, final question, Remington. Any chance you'd want to watch Toradora ever again?
It was a fine thing to watch once. It is not something I would watch again. I've seen it all through, and that's enough.
All right, fair enough. And don't say we never do anything for you folks. We try. Even if
You're welcome.
Even if somebody tries to undermine your efforts. But with that, thank you all so much for tuning in. We really appreciate it. If you enjoyed Remington tearing apart a childhood classic, then please head on over to wherever you get your podcasts, whether that be Apple Podcasts, Podbean, Stitcher, Spotify, and leave us a review. It means the world to us, and we do read every single one. And if you'd like to support us more directly, you can head on over to twitch.tv/animeoutofcontext, where both myself and Remington, and occasionally Dylan, I'm working on it. I'm working on forcing him into it. We'll do some lovely video game streams, super casual affairs, but we'd love to see you there. And if you'd like to support us even more directly, you can head on over to patreon.com/animeoutofcontext, where you can get access to all kinds of lovely bonus material, including having the opportunity to have your name read aloud on the podcast. So, Remington, who are we thanking this week? And hopefully we can do it quick, because, my God, this is going to be one of our longest episodes in a long-ass time.
Yep. I also want a brief interlude. Spotify is finally doing actual reviews for podcasts.
Oh, really?
So all the people who've sent us emails being like, I can't review on Spotify. Why do you always mention it? We were just future-proofing it. We knew this day would come.
Yeah, we always knew. And it's definitely not because most of our listeners are on Spotify, and every time I say the word Spotify, Spotify gets a little happy, and they're like, hey, they said Spotify.
Spotify perks up and is like, oh yeah, that's it, bitch.
I've been making the request for Spotify reviews for years at this point, so I'm just glad that they decided to listen.
All right, so
You're
of course
welcome.
we want to thank all of our bland bitch protagonists as well as our magical girls, but we move on to our yandere waifus who are subjecting us to the torture of many tsundere waifus to just niggle at all of our sanity that remains. And on that list we have Alex, the indecipherable eldritch horror, read the name Rem, you coward. Also, that's not a B, it's an exit. Xanax, yandere neko, you hear? What do you wish for this holiday season? I wish to get more people to play White Swartz. I wish for freedom. VTubers ruined my YouTube
You're American,
algorithm.
Rem. You always have freedom.
Hey. Vaney Jordan, Juliana, Trevor Stoltz, Totally God, Toradora for Christmas, motherfuckers. There you go. The Susanator, Sticky Jelly, Spark Project wants and Joey Willett. Hey, Yugs, we're gonna watch Toradora for Christmas. Happy holidays. And we did. Silent Secondary, sorry, mother. Senpai go Uzai Kohai no Hanashi is everything I wished it would be. Sarah Birch, Sammy Pritchard, Salty Pretzel, Remington's cum sock. Oh God. Don't use a sock.
No.
Yeah, there's guys.
There's plenty of better options than a sock.
There's alternatives.
Like-
Remington Merrill. Remington, give next tier different types of wooden barrels, oak, etc. Ready to be isekai'd. Please, Daddy Shaun, give us Toradora Christmas episode woo. Did it? Power Fantasy MC, but every time he uses his power, he gets less screen time. Love the idea. Nope Rope 89. No waifu, no laifu. No clever shit. This time we had to postpone Ice and Dice to 2023 because COVID. I'm sad and stressed. I don't like disappointing people. Hey, it happens. That's okay. All right.
Get vaccinated, folks.
Yeah, please. Get vaccinated for Ice and Dice, all right? Navi, Mike the Mutilator, Mechanic Weeb wants to know which is better, Case IH or John Deere. Matthew Drum says Rem's a bitch. Marky Hughes, Mockchop92, Lukio, Luke Offenberger, Lucifer, Lonely Geek 23, Locked in Daddy Rem's Basement, Don't Send Help, Kazumuraka, Casey Mosley, Cassidy, Just a Traveler, Jax, Ichigo Simp 015. I'm writing a book on reverse psychology. Please don't buy it. I, Remington, enjoy Moe Lolly Girls. I, Remington, am known as the voice of the people, and those people say Toradora. I got you. I guess you're on Keter duty. I am 100% serious. I will send baked goods if you watch Toradora for Christmas. I look forward to them. Aha, you thought this was another Green Day repeat, but it was me, Dio. Hunter Davies. Hey, Yugs, come get smashed at your local pub. Hey, Rem, let me tongue punch your fart box. Hey, Chuckle and Fuck, went Toradora when? Right fucking now. Good job, says Misaka. Glenn Michael Dolan, Ghostly BC character ASMR has ruined my life. Fuck love Fox and Boyfriend the Man watched and finished all of Toradora in one night, and it was worth it. Formally wants to thank all those who changed their name to Toradora Christmas for the Tracy Avery. Good cause, y'all. Fallen Ghoul. Hey, Yugs, it's time for a Toradora Christmas. We've genuinely reached the point where there's not only multiple Toradoras and multiple Yugs, there's multiple Yugs Toradora Christmas.
Yeah,
like,
no,
we're reaching the fucking singularity of inappropriate Joey Wheeler Toradora Christmas.
I think the final count was 15 people changed their name before this episode got released. So
it's real good. It's real good.
good.
Dracula United Hentai Production Manager, Dr. Zorgonite, Dua, Datatype, Darkstorm713, Danny Morabito, Creed 13, Cody, Shy 900, Christian Moss, Cheese Monkey, Cage in the House, Brockhard for GU Dudes, Be Like Harry and Don't Fuck Your Sister Unless It's Your Redheaded Best Friend Sister, Ariel Bird, Anime Aunt But In Context, Andrew Rauke, Elise Howard, Alpha Weeb also wants the Toradora revisit since my friend hated it when I showed it to him. I disagree with hating it, but I probably have many similar critiques. All Father Wants for Christmas is a Toradora Christmas episode. Oh, whoa, you got it. Adam McLaughlin and hashtag Toradora Christmas Sausage Fest. One add two ain't bad. So there you guys go to our Yandere waifus, but we move on to the Boy Wizard tier, where every Boy Wizard, because it's Christmas time, they are going to get a spell, but not just a spell, but a Christmas cold spell from D&D. All right, so...
Oh, God, there aren't that many. There are.
There's enough.
Okay.
There is enough.
All right. I know, because I have tried to make character concepts based on cold damage, and you got to be very generous, and you got to have a sorcerer.
Yeah, you try, like, Chilling Hands, and then you learn it's necrotic, and you're like, what the fuck? Anyway, why procrastinate? That's complicated. Why continue fear, I think, of admitting a task's ease, of not knowing why one can't stop. This very insightful thing, you're going to get, a frigid blade.
Which is what happens if you go skinny tipping in winter.
You may say the barrel has fallen into the abyss. I ever say it was made in the abyss. And within that abyss, you are going to get Wall of Ice. Whether you are getting this cast upon you or casting it yourself, who knows? Flip a coin. Heads, you're the one casting it. Tails, good luck, fucker. When are you going to review Nyankoi, my favorite? You are going to get the, oh god, far too relatable, Corona of Cold. Warning, you've reached the bottom of the barrel. You are going to get Ice Dragon's Teeth, which apparently is a spell. Tony the Great. You are going to get Armor of Agathis. Shaun, I have to admit that I watch Boku no Pico in my free time and I love it. You get Ice Dagger. Shaun's my fave skeletal twink dom daddy.
Oh god.
You are going to get not an ice dagger, but an ice dart. Rem's big toe, you get an ice axe.
Okay, you're dipping into like 3rd edition, I think.
That's fine.
Okay.
It's all D&D, my dude.
I mean, it is.
Pocket Gamer 513, you are going to get Erkinak's Icy Breath. PL Mare, you are going to get Frost Fingers. Pilkster the Simpo Gear Advocate, you get Ice Storm. Mizrar, you are going to get Sloth Strike. MT the Poet, you are going to get Zajamarn's Field of Icy Razors. Momo the Griff, you are going to get Hands of Ibar. Mike wants an Overlord review. You are going to get straight up just freeze. Nice, straightforward. Miguel Delion, you're going to get Frigid Darkness. Merry Xmas from Lord Bruckdoof to everyone. If this is a Toradora revisit, we did it, boys. If not, Rem, give Shaun herpes. Jesus fucking Christ.
Jesus fucking Christ. I'm glad we did it now.
Good old Badurpies. And on that, you are going to get Frost Backlash. Justin Kessinger, you are going to get Tiramail's Energy Spheres. Inuyasha is my favorite cryptid. Approves of Shaun's Christopher Walken impression. Truly magnificent. You are going to get Ice Gauntlet. I Live in Ogden. Yes, that one. You get Arl's Flowers. If the Toradora Christmas episode happens, I will get a copy of the Chef No Musco All-Star Edition from iSimp for Amelia. Well, great news. And you'll also get Cone of Cold. Classic. I will continue asking for Toradora visit for Christmas, even if we don't get one, including sending multiple weekly emails. Well, congratulations, here you go. And you also get Obedient Avalanche. It'll obey you. Hinata is a ball of sunshine. You get Ray of Frost. Beethoven 1201, very different from what you get, which is Polar Ray, Aaron Hegland, you're going to get Sleet Storm. And that's all. Thank you all so much. And finally, we move on to the inappropriate Joey Wheeler, each one of you are going to get a tsundere line from inappropriate Joey Wheeler himself, but from Shaun's iteration of tsundere inappropriate Joey Wheeler. Start with Tucker Schmidt.
Oh,
Shaun?
God. I thought I was done with the impressions.
No, well, this one, I mean, this isn't an impression. This is, you just gotta embody inappropriate Joey Wheeler, you know? But also as a tsundere.
Oh, God.
I'll tell you what, I'll do one of them. You just let me know which one.
Oh, God. I don't know if
I can start things off and you can cover the rest, or you can throw me down later.
You started off. I need to emotionally prepare myself.
All right. Hey, Tucker, I don't love you, and then beats the fucking shit out of you. Bam, 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 bam. But then I blush. All right, I started pretty strong. Good luck. Silicone Spectre, you're next.
Hey, Silicon Spectre. You know what I like about you? Nothing. Maybe.
There we go. All right, then we get Pope of the Church of Remington Chase. What do you have for the Pope?
Hey, you know, I ain't much a fan of religion, but it's like, you know, I'd be willing to attend a sermon or two if you like.
Much love for the holiday season, Shaun, Rem, and Dylan Hart. Much love to you as well. In fact, I think a certain someone has some love to provide.
Oh, man. Love? No. I ain't about love, you know? I'm just here to have a good time. And, well, I just don't... Well, thank you.
All right, so then we have my dear old mom. Tread carefully, you son of a bitch.
I mean, thank you for Remington, I guess, Baka.
Excuse me, what the fuck did you just call my mother, you son of a bitch? And last but not least, the guy who's just given more than he should, and we appreciate that. It's Dylan Hayden. What do you have for this big spender?
Dylan Hayden, you're like, God, I just don't want. I'm going a bit Australian. What the fuck is going on? What the fuck is going on?
All right, Higgs, as we see here, I've just played my trap card.
Laying a trap out of Cinderise. What the fuck is going on? All right, hold on. Let me reset my Joey Wheeler. Holy fuck. Hey, Yukes. Hey, Yukes. Hey, I'm walking here. All right. Yeah. Hey, Dylan. Like, it's not like you're giving us too much money or anything, but you mean a lot to me. Forget it, Baka. Runs away.
All right. If you guys would like to reach out, whether it's for a comment, question, feedback, or recommendation, you can tweet us at AnimeConPod or you can send an email onto animeoutofcontext@gmail.com. Fucked it up a little bit. Don't worry about it.
It's okay. We've been recording for over 2 hours. We're fine. So with that in mind, thank you all so much for tuning in. Have a very Merry Christmas. We love you all very much. And as always, don't fuck your sister.
Listen here, little bitch boy. Fucking do it. Tyga is just Edward fucking Cullen.
You capitalist pig! It's a very brutal scene, all things considered, in this, slice of life comedy drama. Dramedy comma.
He quits the council, has a breakdown, dyes his hair blonde, starts a sex cult.
But Rem, can you even call yourself my friend if you're not willing to slap a bitch with a penis?
Basically, the father's molesting children storyline is just like a way worse version of the storyline in Fairly Odd Parents. Tyga and Kitamura, they die at the end by a bonfire. Doug Dimmadome, owner of the Dimsdale Dimmadome, has become the patron saint of broken hearts, and I will not explain that because it's virtually meaningless. Dylan is a bit of a selfish, careless asshole who's really immature. Shaun has no, personality or existence himself. I'll tell you what, Shaun, if a girl rejected you, right?
Right.
I'm going to go and bring a kendo stick to beat the shit out of her. I'm gonna do that. And I would hope you'd expect that of me, because it would be unhinged.
You know me. Love me some dicks.
By the way, I love con. She takes Ryuji's cinch, small dick, but then she just decides to fuck everybody. Ryuji starts molesting Taiga and her dad, and then it gets faster and Minorin, and then eventually everybody joins in.